Alright, I really forgot to specify something in my overrated movies video. There are also, a ton of movies I think are overhated, and that's what we'll be discussing today. So will be the sequel to that video. I do want to put a disclaimer for this video. For some of these, take it with a grain of salt, because I grew up watching a few of these, and they're childhood for me. I honestly could just be nostalgia blind for a couple of these, so consider that throughout this video. Also, no categories for this one, rapid fire. The first three movies we'll be discussing are films that are probably the first case of me thinking a film is overhated. Yes, three. I think it's safe for me to say that I'm not blinded by nostalgia for this one. I'm talking about the first three Transformers Bayverse movies. Yes, Revenge of the Fallen included. In fact, I think the first is the worst of the three, to add salt to your wound. Let me just start by saying that I've only seen non-Transformers fans hate on these films. Just keep that in mind. I won't deny all the sexist stuff. That's not really avoidable in a Michael Bay movie. But yeah, it's obviously bad. But so many of the criticisms of these movies are so fucking nitpicky, in my opinion. Like, people pointing out the product placement. Are you serious? You're actively looking for which brand appears next? How fucking unfun can you be? I personally don't care about product placement in movies because you really only notice it when you're trying to. People point out the fact that there's a lot of action and explosions in these movies. Huh? You're watching a fucking movie about robots who transform into vehicles who are caught in a generational cosmic war. Oh, I sure hope there isn't too much action. Watch a fucking Hallmark movie then. I don't know, dude. People also just endlessly complain about the fucking humor and how it's immature. I don't care how sophisticated humor is. It just has to be funny, okay? But in general, these first three movies are pretty fucking awesome in my opinion, coming from a lifelong Transformers fan. Yes, first three. 4 and 5 isn't a debate. Those ones are dog shit. And don't get me started on Rise of the Beasts. This isn't so bad it's good. It's just a fucking snooze fest. How do you make a movie with Unicron in it a fucking snooze fest? Ugh. Bumblebee was alright though. But there you have it. We have another string of 2 films coming up. These being Rambo 2008 and Rambo Last Blood. Okay, so the gist of this one is that the internet has really fucked up people's perception of the Rambo movies ever since they found out that First Blood is a very misunderstood movie. I won't deny it, obviously. First Blood is actually supposed to be primarily about a traumatized soldier recovering from PTSD rather than an action film. Here's something you also missed. These films, and the rest of the Rambo series, are not. If you want to treat First Blood like it's supposed to be treated, sure. Just make sure you're doing the same for these films. These are action films first, and action films second. You sit down, turn on these movies, and just watch. You don't have to think, and you're not made to think. All I have to say for these ones is that it's okay to just be a hell yeah action movie. Speaking of being allowed to turn your brain off, our next film is Spiral. This film was announced to be a Saw spin-off. It was marketed as a Saw spin-off. It is a Saw spin-off. And people are mad that it's a spin-off? God damn it, you people! The reason this doesn't feel like a Saw movie is because it isn't supposed to! People are unreasonably pissed about the plot twist. Apparently, it was predictable. And yeah, it is if you fucking treat the movie like a game. If you just watch, it's a fun plot twist. And also, a lot of people have hated the traps in this one because they're quote-unquote unfair. One, Jigsaw was never fair with a lot of his traps. The fucking flammable jelly one, which is in the first film, is near impossible. Two, shut the fuck up. These are some of the best traps in the whole, series. Alright. So, next one, I don't have much to say, but it's the Cars series. I never knew people genuinely disliked the Cars movies until like a year ago. 3 is understandable because I forget that one too, but 1 and 2 are pretty good kids movies. I don't know why people dislike it. Next one might ruffle some feathers, but I'll fucking die by this one. Alien Covenant. Only fucking complaint I hear about this movie is the fact that they take their helmets off on the planet. Okay, there's like 2 more hours of content. Fucking idiots. Oh, Alien Covenant's a good movie. I don't care if they take their helmets off like dumbasses. This next one. I've seen a couple people open up to this film recently, but it's The Dark Knight Rises. In my opinion, Batman Begins is actually by far the worst one. I genuinely do not like Batman Begins. They fucked Scarecrow up big time. So for The Dark Knight Rises, one of the criticisms I heavily agree with is that Robin fucking sucked here. You can do Robin without drastically changing his character. I don't know why directors avoid Robin like the plague. And don't say Batman and Robin because that's not a solid point, okay? Again, a lot of the problems here are people have are nitpicky, like Bane dying pretty easily, when I think the film makes it clear that this isn't the comic Bane and a more grounded Bane. Bane in general. This is not comic Bane. This is a realistic Bane. Say it with me. Realistic. The Dark Knight Rises, in my opinion, is a really solid ending to the trilogy besides Robin, and people just hate it for no reason. Next film is a pretty drastic change in tone from most of the movies listed here. Kids. So, if you're familiar with this movie, it's kind of obvious why people don't like it and hate it. It's a hard fucking watch. I do think people kind of blow the film's content slightly out of proportion. Like, I only turned my head to the opening sex scene and obviously the rape scene. It is still a pretty brutal look into youth culture. However, I'm not talking about the people being disgusted by this movie, because that's okay. No, I'm talking about the fuckers who call this film edgy and not realistic, just exploitative. If you say this, you definitely had an amazing childhood. I had a feeling this film was going to be really over the top, when in reality, it's just right with what it portrays compared to real life. This film honestly isn't too exploitative in my opinion. People are scarily unaware of the fact that, yeah, this stuff happens, and it happens a lot. I've heard worse shit happen from other people. This one time, a guy explained to me in detail how he emotionally abuses all his girlfriends. True story. I like this film. I think it should be watched by a lot of people, because some people think of children as pure souls, and the fact that this movie sparks so much discussion is proof of that. Thank you for the TED Talk. Now let's get back to business. Next film might confuse you, but I've decided to add The Blair Witch Project. What? This film created a whole genre, though. Yes, this movie was adored upon release, but trust me, ask any horror fan on the internet, and they will go on a tangent about how it's the most overrated horror movie of all time. I nearly believed these people, and I had never seen the film. So when I did sit down and watch it, I was completely knocked out of my fucking chair. This is my fucking favorite found footage horror movie by far. This is found footage downright realistic. Like, it feels real, and it's mixed with, like, psychological horror. You can't even see everything that's going on. Trust me, this film is pretty fucked up when you let it get to your head. I wish I was in the 90s watching this shit thinking it was real. So, our last 2 films are part of a failed franchise, and I've seen so many people come to these films as defense now because of a certain actor, when I am an OG defender of these films. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Yes! You heard me. Not just 1, 2. 2 is also here. I don't think I even need to explain myself for 1. That's just a good movie. So let's jump into 2. I agree that the Rhino was stupid and that's it. This film is a good watch. People kept saying this film has too many villains. It has 3! The Batman, one of the best Batman movies, features 5 different Batman villains in it. It's not that hard to focus on 3 guys, but especially Green Goblin. Dude, Green Goblin was good here. I don't fucking care. I'm not a Green Goblin fan. I don't like him as a villain. And I liked him here. Lastly, fucking everyone clowns on Spider-Man in this one for not saving Gwen Stacy. Okay, it adds some more depth to the fucking story. And have you watched that scene? She was going to die. Period. No debate. Alright, there's all the films I gotta talk about. Good talk.